Okay, Second Chronicles chapter 2 is what we're going to get into today. So again, Solomon is expanding economically the opportunities that Israel has, basically. So in this one, he gets into dealing with the king of Tyre, Haran, and we're going to learn about him. And verse 1, and Solomon determined to build an house for the name of the Lord and an house for his kingdom. And Solomon told out 70,000 men to bear burdens, and 4,000 to hew in the mountain, and 3,600 to oversee them. And Solomon sent to Huram, the king of Tyre, saying, as thou didst deal with David my father, and did send him cedars to build an house to dwell therein, even so deal with me. Behold, I build an house to the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate it to him, and to burn before him sweet incense, and for the continual shewbread, for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths and on the new moons, and on the solemn feasts of the Lord our God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel. And the house which I build is great, for great is our God above all gods. But who is able to build him an house, seeing the heaven and heaven of heavens cannot contain him? Who am I then that I should build him an house, save only to burn sacrifice before him? Send me now therefore a man cunning to work in gold and in silver and in brass and in iron and purple, in crimson and blue, that can skill to grave with the cunning men that are with me in Judah and in Jerusalem, whom David my father did provide. Send me also cedar trees, fir trees, algum trees out of Lebanon, for I know that thy servants can skill to cut timber in Lebanon, and behold, my servants shall be with thy servants, even to prepare me timber in abundance, for the house which I am about to build shall be wonderful great. And behold, I will give to thy servants, the hewers that cut timber, 20,000 measures of beaten wheat, 20,000 measures of barley, and 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil. So this is the letter that Solomon put together to send to Huram, king of Tyre, and to talk to him about, hey, you did some trade with my father for cedars of Lebanon. I want more. I want all this stuff. Here's my list of all I'd like you to do for us, and I'm going to pay your workers this much to do this basically for us. So verse 11, this is the answer that he got from Tyre. He says, then Huram, the king of Tyre, answered in writing, which he sent to Solomon, because the Lord hath loved his people, he hath made thee king over them. Huram said, moreover, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, that made heaven and earth, who hath given to David the king a wise son, endued with prudence and understanding, that might build an house for the Lord, and an house for his kingdom. And now I have sent a cunning man, endued with understanding, of Huram my father's, the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, and his father was a man of Tyre, skillful to work in gold, and in silver, in brass, and iron, and stone, and timber, and purple, blue, and fine linen, and crimson, also to grave any manner of graving, and to find out every device which shall be put to him, with thy cunning men, and with the cunning men of my lord David thy father. Now therefore the wheat and the barley, the oil, the wine, which my lord hath spoken of, let him send unto his servants. We will cut wood out of Lebanon, as much as thou shalt need, and we will bring it to thee in floats by sea to Joppa, and thou shalt carry it up to Jerusalem. So he's saying, yes, we're going to do this. We'll work together. We'll pull all this together. We're going to make this work. This is going to be awesome. So they're going to cut the timber. Now, Tyre, they had special people that understood how to cut lumber down, how to mill it, how to get it ready to be used. So then Solomon wanted to make sure that he had some people from Israel that could be taught how to do that, so they could ship the lumber down and then mill it the rest of the way in Jerusalem, in that area, to help out. So they're going to cut them down, send them down the Mediterranean coast, basically, and then unload them and then bring them in directly to Jerusalem. This is just a faster traveling with that much timber, unless you have like a railroad or something. It's just best to do straight lines, and rarely, if you're walking an overland path, you're rarely going to get a straight line. So it's just easier to float them. Basically, it's just they float by themselves, and they can, if you just put them on a big barge, you can float them down pretty easy. So that's a great, less effective, or less costly, I should say, more effective way to move timber. So let's see, verse 17. And Solomon numbered all the strangers that were in the land of Israel after the numbering wherewith David his father had numbered them, and they were found 3,600. And he set 310,000 of them to be bearers of burdens, and 80,000 to be hewers in the mountain, and 3,600 overseers to set the people a work. So they've got the workers, some are up in the mountains cutting them down, some are hauling them across the land, doing those burdens and things. There's others that are your managers that are watching and ministering to people, those kinds of things. He's got his workforce in place. He borrowed a lot of Israelites to do it. He borrowed even neighbor people to do it, to get enough manpower to be able to pull this off and get all this stuff down here, basically. So it's a big deal. Granted, it was an awesome, spectacular temple, but this is a big deal to bring all this together. So let's jump in the next chapter as we continue on.